Welcome to the lair of the Batty Boffin.
Hi there Batty fans, it's time for a little more work on positives and negatives with the Batty Boffin. Now in earlier videos we looked at some simple multiplies and divides using positives and negatives. Today we're moving on and going on to some slightly more complex ones like this. Now if you remember, the way that we attack multiplying and dividing positives and negatives is basically just to forget all about the negatives, okay? Pretend they're not there. That one, and that one. We're just going to rub them out, okay? We're going to do the sum as if they're not there and get the answer, and then we'll look at whether it's positive or negative. So, a 1 times 2, that's 2, times 3, that's 6, times 4, that's 24. So the top comes to 24, divided by 2 times 6, that's 12. 24 divided by 12, 2. The answer to that is 2. So no matter what positives and negatives there are on there, the answer is always going to be a 2. It could be plus or it could be minus, but it's definitely going to be a 2. So first of all, we throw away all the negatives and just get the answer. It's 2. And now we're going to put them back in and look how that changes it. Now the 1 was actually positive anyway, so we were right on that one. That doesn't do anything. But that 2 that we were saying was positive is actually a negative 2. We've changed a sign in the question, so we must change a sign in the answer. That 3 was also a negative. We changed a sign in the question, so we change a sign in the answer. The 4, yeah, that was positive, so that doesn't need to change. The 2, that was also positive, I think. Was it the 2 or the 6 I put? I think it was the 6, doesn't matter. The 6, we changed the sign in the question, so we must change the sign in the answer. And the answer is negative 2. It starts off everything positive, that flips it to negative, that flips it back to positive, and that flips it back to negative again. Okay with that? Right, I'm just going to wipe down the board and there'll be some for you to have a go at. Right, here are a whole load for you to have a go at. We've got 4 different ones with multiplies on the top and some divides on there. So have a go at those and I'll see you in a minute to go through the answers. Right, let's start with the purple one. Remember, we're going to just ignore all the minuses and get the answer, and then we'll put them back in by flipping the answer. So a 5 times a 2 is a 10, divided by a 10 is 1. You're always going to get 1. That is positive, and we knew it was anyway. That one is negative, so that's flipped the sign in the question, so it flips the sign in the answer. That one, again, flips the sign in the question, so that flips the sign in the answer. Positive 1. Right, blue next. 6 times 1 is 6, times 4 is 24 on the top, 3 times 2 is 6 on the bottom. 24 divided by 6, that's 4. That flips it to negative, that flips it back to positive. That doesn't do anything because we assumed it was positive anyway. So that one flips it back to negative again. So you should end up with negative 4. It's only the minuses that flip it, because remember we started off assuming everything was positive, and if it was actually negative then that has flipped it in the question, so we need to flip the answer. Over here we've got a 4 times a 3, that's 12, divided by another 12, so again the answer to there is 1. That flips it negative, flips it positive, flips it negative. Negative 1. And finally the red one, where we have got everything negative. We have a 10 times a 2 is 20 on the top and 20 on the bottom, so again we've got a 1. It starts off positive, that flips it negative, flips it positive, flips it negative, flips it back to positive, and flips it back to negative. So we should have negative 1 for that one. Did you get all those? I hope so. Right, that's enough for these ones here. I'll see you next time, Batty fans.
Mwahaha! Mwahaha! Mwahaha!